My name is Joe Poliak, San Francisco Bay Area real estate agent with Rise Homes. I'm the founder and the top agent here at Rise Homes, and I help families learn, grow, and build wealth through real estate. Thanks so much for watching. And let's jump right in. In the last two videos, I went over the data for San Francisco single-family homes, condos, TIC co-ops, and then also San Mateo County single-family homes and condos and townhomes. In this video, in this analysis, I aim to give you a little bit more live of a snapshot where we review the past data, but we're also seeing what's happening right now. So first and foremost, what we're pretty much seeing all across the board is that active listings, the number of homes that went up for sale in those months, in that January, February kind of time frame, are down significantly for everything all across the board, for condos, two single family homes for both San Francisco, San Mateo County. Now let me ask you, what do you think that's attributed to? Why do you think there's way less people listing their homes for sale, as much as 40% in San Francisco and almost 40% in San Mateo County? Drop it in the comments below. Let me know what you think is causing a lot less people to want to put their homes up for sale. In my opinion, I think interest rates going up, because if you're selling something, then there's a pretty good chance you're going to be buying something. And if you're buying something, depending on where you're buying, your affordability depends on those interest rates, what you're able to afford. There may be a significant amount of people that would want to sell a property. They feel that, oh wait, now I'm going to get a lower price for my place. And when I go to buy a place, I'm going to have to pay more because the payments are going to be significantly more, even though those prices might be down a little bit. I think that's the primary driver of this, but it could be other stuff. So with new listings being very low and inventory getting eaten up because there's less homes to replace those homes that are being sold, what that I think caused is the San Mateo County single family market and condos essentially to rebound over the last few months. Whereas we saw kind of this little bit of a mini crash in the fourth quarter of 2022, we saw a bit of a recovery. And in fact, with that insane 18% increase in average sales price for single family homes in San Mateo County in February, year over year, we're seeing a pretty big recovery in single family homes in San Mateo County, but not in single family homes in San Francisco. Median price went from 1.9 million, a little bit over 1.9 million, to 1.44 million year over year in San Francisco for single family homes, a drop of 25%, whereas San Mateo was not nearly that much. San Mateo was down by 2% year over year. So why is the San Francisco market taking a beating, really? Like, I mean, it's like taking a slaughtering, really, whereas San Mateo County is not. I talked to a number of people who moved from San Francisco to San Mateo County. What are the reasons people move to these areas from places like San Francisco, but just in general, maybe not even from San Francisco, but just in general? It's the usual stuff. Here in San Mateo, where I live, it is better weather, clear, sunnier skies, less crime, less urban issues that regularly hurt San Francisco and seem to be getting worse and worse and worse over the years. Better schools, better rated schools. In general, it seems to be a better place to raise a family. That's what you hear. Okay, don't shoot the messenger, but that's what you hear people say. Say they're moving to these places because it feels to be a more appropriate place to have a family, to raise your family. And a few other things are like better parking and just not as busy and not as hustle and bustle of the city. If you like this video so far, please, please, please let me know by hitting the subscribe button or following this wherever you're watching this video. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Those are the standard things, but those always exist. So what could be causing this difference right now in this period of time? I think what we're seeing is kind of a little, the city's not as hot right now. People aren't wanting to live there right now. But I don't think that's a permanent thing. I think it's cyclical, and I think you're going to see the reverse. I think you're going to start seeing people wanting to move into the city. As this area becomes less and less affordable, people are going to say, wait, hold on a second. Why would I pay so much more to live further from my job, for the people who work in the city, when I can get a better priced home and I can be closer to work? And you know what? There's good neighborhoods in the city. There's good places where I can live. And you know what? It is cool to be walking distance to the restaurants and the symphony and, just cool stuff that a city has to offer. So I think it's cyclical, and I think you're going to see that trend reverse at some point, where the city is going to have, San Francisco is going to have average sales price increases and median sales price increases, whereas San Mateo County is going to see it stable or maybe even decreasing. So it's cyclical like this. this and those things change and switch up. Let's talk a little bit about interest rates. So keep in mind that interest rates pretty much peaked in fall of 2022, it looks like. In our area, what did that look like? It looked like the low sixes, maybe mid sixes for price ranges in our area. So for the jumbo, which is over $1,080,000, those rates were hovering in maybe like the low or around the 6 or maybe even high 5. So they dipped a little bit in the first quarter of 2023 to the mid to maybe even low 5s to I even had people getting interest rates, 30-year fixed mortgages at the high 4s in certain cases because of the different incentives offered. Now, historically, people always thought and always felt that interest rates are higher for jumbo loans than conventional ones. And I think that historically that has been the case. I really don't understand why that's not the case right now, because conventional, you're seeing nationwide interest rates are in the 7s, right? And whereas jumbo around here for, banks like First Republic, Bank of America, Chase, Citibank, Wells Fargo, US Bank, the big major lenders basically, they all have interest rates that are significantly below the national average, and they also have discounts for people who work at certain companies. And in addition to that, they have relationship discounts. If you add $500,000 into your B of A account, they'll drop your rate by 1/4 point or something like that. So they have all these little incentives for you to go to them, and that causes our interest rates on these jumbo loans to be lower than what you hear on the national average. Unless you're living under a rock, you've probably heard of SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, collapsing, right? With that collapse, what's next? What's ahead? The government stepped in and said, hey, we're going to guarantee all the depositors money. That should be, in theory, good news for Silicon Valley, because we have a ton of these companies that are, 5, 10, 50, 100, 200 employees that would be hurt, that if Silicon Valley Bank doesn't give them back their money and the payroll processors and all these things, that they would be stuck. They wouldn't be able to make payroll. They wouldn't be able to pay their vendors. They wouldn't be able to operate anymore. But what does that mean to our local real estate? Right now, I'm, for the most part, not seeing anybody really affected by this. I don't know of anybody who's worried about getting paid, who's worried about their company failing, about anything like that right now. It might be too early to tell. So for the most part, it doesn't seem like there's any effect right now. But again, if more and more banks start failing and, the government says, okay, enough, we're not going to bail you guys out and your deposits, and anything over 250,000 is lost to the wind, that might have another sort of effect that could really have an effect on not just our local real estate prices, but our economy and the world in general. So no matter what happens, we're in this together, right? The San Francisco Bay Area and the US and the world, we're all in this together. We're all just trying to navigate all this stuff, and we're all trying to do the best that we can and just focus on what you can control and not what you can't control. Hey, thanks for sticking around, and I hope you learned something new today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to the channel, share it with your buddies. I really appreciate that. It would really help us grow our channel. It would really help us as a team. It will really help us help more people like you who might be thinking about buying or selling or investing in real estate. Thank you so much in advance, and I'll see you on the next video.